Yo. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen. Be you with a significant other or find yourself alone on this day, I wish you all a lovely day, all the same. That being said, love really is a strange thing, is it not? Love can take so many forms, come in so many packages, be it from the love of a family member, that of a lover, of a friend, a pet, or even of oneself. But on the web, love can come in far more extreme and interesting packages. So today let's wander the web and take a look at this strange lover's tale, the pilot episode of an animated web series that never quite went anywhere, but impacted all those who watched it all the same. Today, let's wander through the bizarre internet love story involving an anthropomorphic purple skunk girl, the infamous Mike and Melissa show. So, what is Mike and Melissa? Well, perhaps it's best if I take you through a tour of its contents, that being its only episode. Written, animated, and directed by a man by the name of Mike Chenoweth, and originally released via YouTube on December 20th of 2012, under the title Mike and Melissa Episode 1, Mike Goes Crazy, Rough Pilot. The other thing of note before we dive deep into this near 16-minute epic is that this animation was done almost entirely by Mike Chenoweth, and while there are some additional voices and the like on this project, the majority of this thing is Mike's work, including most of the music. Lastly, this pilot episode was actually made while Mike was in college, and of note is that he actually showed this video to a full class of students and a teacher for extra credit. For what class, I'm not exactly sure, but I would assume it would be some sort of animation class or film class, but I'm leaning more towards an animation class. Remember these things as we go forward. With that said, get a snack and drink, and let's see what Mike and Melissa is all about. So the episode starts out with this little faux production company title sequence. The company named Dirty Little Mammals Productions, where this little furry dog man thing rises out of a pit of mud. You see, you know it's mud because there's a sign in the background signed Mud, M-U-H-D, which may seem like a little bit of a random detail, but I think it's actually really funny because I have a bit of a theory that he put the sign there to make sure you knew it was mud, in case you thought he was rising out of a big old pool of, well, I think you can get the picture. And then we have our opening scene.
Oh, God. I look like a crazy person. I wonder if this is how I look all the time. Bleh! Ow! Ow! Shut up! Shut up!
So yes, this is Mike, our protagonist of this story. And as you can see, he's rather eccentric. He's the kind of guy that houses himself in the bathroom mirror so loud that the neighbors get upset. The type of guy to wear a helmet, hat, something on his head, with a pair of cat ears, and never takes it off, signifying that he is indeed a furry man. The keen among you might have noticed that Mike, the titular Mike of the Mike and Melissa show, shares the exact name as the man who created this cartoon, meaning only one thing, that this character, our protagonist, our hero, is none other than a self-insert of the cartoon's creator. Keep that in mind as well as we go forward. We then see the title card, Mike and Melissa Episode 1, Mike Goes Crazy, while we get a listen at some of the original music Mike made for the show. Mesmerizing. And then, well, we get a little taste of our protagonist's typical day at home, including drawing.
Oh my god, this looks so stupid!
It looks stupid, Vera.
Playing video games.
Throws it deep into single coverage. Receiver has it. No! He lost it and it's intercepted.
Yeah, fucking bullshit. Jabbing fucking shit. Fucking fucking bullshit. Fucking jabbing. Fuck. God. Fuck.
What a dick.
Whoa, we got ourselves a regular angry video game nerd over here. And then he does a little bit of wandering the web himself.
Alright. Google search angry beavers.
My beaver is so angry.
Ew!
Interesting. And then we have whatever this is, I guess.
As you children burn in the fire.
What am I doing with my life?
Well, after that, Mike is off to go to his college classes, probably very much like the real-life Mike would. And let's rest on this frame for a moment. This frame of Mike, looking rather upset, disgruntled even, hands in his pockets, wearing this rather interesting shirt that reads, "I am Mike, the hardcore plus awesome." This is probably my personal favorite frame of the whole animation, especially the interaction that happens next. Now, this monster holding up Mike's shirt is apparently Mike's ex-girlfriend, but we'll get back to that later, I guess. We then have this little interaction.
You should say hi to me. Whatever.
What I love about this little scene is that it's all in Mike's head, and that he could have said hi to the girl first, but chose not to, and yet, in spite of that, feels personally insulted that she didn't say hi first instead, which I must admit is quite curious, very interesting indeed. Also, maybe it goes without saying, but this cartoon isn't, well, animated very good. In fact, it just looks terrible. Augmented by one of the strangest art styles that I've ever seen. It's kind of like anime, but more like those Western how-to-draw anime books. It's a very tacky aesthetic. Add that with completely no sense of anatomy, and the bizarre but I suppose unique stylistic choice to have the characters' mouths primarily at a slant or on the side of their head at nearly all times, and you've got something that has ironically enough, a very unique look. It is sort of charming in that super amateurish way, and at times even accidentally looks and feels like something you might see on Adult Swim at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But there is also a clear lack of skill / knowledge over how to properly draw or animate on pretty much any level you can imagine. Which is an interesting note, given the next scene.
Some verticals here, and more verticals here, and the horizontals. All of these are made important by the rectangle. The rectangle gives the frame compositional significance. The rectangle provides order and symmetry to an otherwise orderless and chaotic frame. This fucking rectangle is the best thing ever. Rectangle, 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 rectangle.
God, I hope the party at the mental house is fun.
Rectangle, rectangle. Oh, rectangle within the rectangle.
Ugh.
Now, I find this scene extra interesting because it depicts a college classroom. Again, a place where this animation was shown at one point, showcasing a teacher going on and on about rectangles and symmetry in film in a bizarro fashion, with this I just slam keys in the keyboard soundtrack is playing in the background, all while Mike sits there bored beyond belief, his paper full of the word poop written over and over again. And while maybe this was all tongue-in-cheek, it's hard not to wonder if this is how Mike is in real life, and how he handled his animation and film classes, unable to understand anything that was being said, just going through the motions. If that is the case, maybe if he listened instead of writing poop over and over again, he would have at least known how to draw a rectangle, if nothing else. Not to mention, that must have been really fucking awkward showing a badly drawn cartoon to your whole class, including the teacher I'm assuming that he's making fun of. Maybe it was a different teacher that he was making fun of, but I don't know. Anyway, the next scene takes place at a dorm party, where Mike, I guess, invited over some of his friends outside of college. I think. But unfortunately for Mike, this party just isn't really their scene.
Mike, this place blows.
Mike tries to assure his friends that the party will get better. And then we meet these two guys called Lenny and Choo Choo. And they're like, you know what, I'll just let the scene play.
Well, the party just started. There's gonna be some bands later, and there's some cool people I know here. And, oh, hey, Lenny and Choo Choo!
Oh, what's up, boy?
I want you guys to meet some cool people I know. This is Phil. This is Ted. They're in a band, and they might just be interested in playing here. And this is Travis. And this is Jason. They're,
Well, if you want to play the film, you gotta make sure that it's clean.
Yeah, man! Now you gotta take the film, and you gotta put it in the thing.
Projector! No, project! Press play!
So Mike is thoroughly embarrassed for some reason. I guess he really wanted to impress his friends with this place. Again, not really sure why, but at any rate, Mike then suggests they get some beer, and we have this interesting directorial choice.
Drinks! Beer! Psh, goo, 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 pss. 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 Beer! What kind of music do you listen to? Beer! I gotta go. Goo, 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 pss. Beer!
So she's like walking down this hall.
Beer!
And it looks like there's no way out.
Story really sucks, dude.
And get this. It was all a dream.
That story really fucking sucks.
Mike then interacts with several people at the party while the song continues, including a woman he's looking to maybe hang with.
Like, seriously, like, the thing is that I include a metal song in every episode. For that week. And it ties into the theme of the episode.
That's cool. That's cool. Now I'm gonna go get another bear. Okay? Okay.
Stupid. She doesn't want to hear about my stupid series. Stupid.
Now what's interesting here is Mike in this cartoon is also making an animated series. The art reflecting the artist, I suppose, both in perfect synchronicity, which makes his troubles with women feel all the more personal, perhaps uncomfortably so. Especially when you remember this was shown to a class of students, including women, I assume. You could play it all off for laughs, but it feels like Mike as a character is rather angry that women don't give him the time of day, which may say something about how the real Mike feels about that topic. Again, keep that topic in mind as we go forward. All these things will make more sense once we've reached the apex of this story. Anyway, we then have this scene where a band is supposed to play, and I guess Mike told his friends a metal band was going to play or something like that, and that it would be a good scene for them to possibly play as a metal band as well. But instead we get this indie, emo-ish, I don't really know what the hell this band is supposed to be making fun of, but chaos ensues.
Hello, everyone. We're Shotgun River, and here we go. Strum my face. I'm your landfill. I'll let you dump all your shit on me. Strum my face. Please don't leave me. I can't live without you. Okay. Yeah.
No! 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 No!
Yeah.
This place is not metal!
Don't pee on that tree, asshole.
Just wanted to talk about my series. My series.
Now that was something very interesting, but what comes next can only be described as disturbing on two levels. The first being that Mike, feeling rather lonely and sexually frustrated, decide he's gonna relieve some tension. He's gonna beat his meat, as they say. But again, let me remind you, one last time I promise, that this was shown to a class of fellow students and a professor, and I mean hell, I guess we can talk about it being on the internet as well. And this is the self-insert. Are you, beginning to see how strange and weird this is? But that's only the first part of why this is disturbing. The second part is, well, I think it will become obvious momentarily.
Whatever, I gotta do this. I just need to feel something. It's been so long since I've felt close to anyone else. I just need to find a soulmate. Even if it's...
A purple skunk person?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we finally arrive at Melissa, an anthro-purple skunk girl. But where did she come from? Well, I'll just let you see.
Come on out. I don't bite.
Who are you?
I'm Melissa. Nice to meet you. You seem confused. Okay, I'll break it down for you. I'm what's known as a puka, a benevolent animal spirit who only appears to the people who require his or her presence. And if you don't buy that, I'm a construct of your awesomely overactive imagination.
Oh my god, I've got insane!
Don't be like that. Just think of me as an embodiment of that positive voice in your head. Your subconscious wanted to balance your negativity by projecting me into the real world in a form you'd find, well, attractive.
That's weird. My subconscious is attracted to purple skunk people?
I'd say more than just your subconscious. Relax. I think it's a compliment. Here, have a seat.
So Melissa is a sort of animal spirit or figment of Mike's imagination. Or both, I don't know. But she's here all the same, because Mike was lonely, isolated, in need of another in a world so cruel. He needed someone to take care of him, someone to give him another, and most importantly, someone to fuck. And so, because Mike is a furry, she took the form of an anthropomorphic skunk. Yep, makes sense to me. Well, then Mike starts reflecting on his life and what led him up to this moment of shame.
Oh man, Freud would have a field day with me.
Freud would have a field day with himself. Poop on Freud. Sometimes things aren't as complicated as they seem.
No! I can't do this. This is the kind of thing that crazy people do. I mean, oh, good lord, I guess it's finally happened. Sa left me because she thought I was insane. Maybe she was right.
You know, the ex-girlfriend's name being bleeped out makes me think that this was too based in reality. That Mike, that is to say, the Mike in real life who made this cartoon, had an ex that really twisted his perception of women and himself, and that it's something that hangs heavy on his cat ear-hatted mind. Again, this all comes off as very personal, dare I say, Christianian, in the same way Christian let out his deepest feelings, desires, and predispositions through the Sonichu comic. This cartoon seems to serve a very similar purpose for Mike, but we'll get back to that topic in a moment. Melissa comforts Mike and reassures him that this is all a good thing, that he's not crazy, and that he just needs someone to be there for him.
Mike, you're not crazy, all right? You just need someone to be there for you. Someone who listens to you. Someone who understands you. Someone who loves you. I can be that. So why does it matter if I'm not real?
But
this whole character and sequence almost feels like Mike talking to himself, which may be canon accurate, I suppose, since she is a figment of his imagination. So after Mike and Melissa touch eyes, they then make love and lick each other.
it can't just be this simple. Can it?
Why not?
Ah, lovely. Well, after doing that all day/night, Mike sees that he's late for a class, but Melissa, being the all-knowing best girlfriend skunk ever, knows all the info already and convinces him to do something else instead.
So, what do you want to do now?
Well, oh shit.
What's up?
I gotta go watch this stupid old Soviet movie for my stupid class. Soviet shaming Russia, capitalism, go fuck yourself.
Sounds super lame. Let's go for a walk instead.
I would love to go for a walk, but I can't. I need to analyze this stupid movie and its use of frame composition and critic.
There are some rectangles and some cuts, and they make people hate life. There, you're done. Walk.
But
Mike, come on. Walk.
rectangles. Fuck the rectangle, let's go.
Boy, oh boy, Mike sure does hate studying shot composition. It's a good thing he's so naturally talented at it, he doesn't even need it. I mean, we're looking at a real autiste here. He doesn't have time to do stupid little things like improve his craft. We then get the best walk cycle ever put to film, and Mike and Melissa share some more thoughts on the setup of their interesting relationship. And how, if you really think about it, this whole thing is really logical and totally, not completely sad and pathetic and cringy to showcase to your class. Being in a relationship with an imaginary skunk you made up in your head is totally logical, and it makes sense if you really analyze the nuances of the...
Thanks. I sing at a club sometimes. You should swing by.
Where at?
Here.
Oh man, this is gonna take some getting used to. I mean, people don't just make up girlfriends.
Aha! You said it! I'm your girlfriend. Look, it's actually very logical if you think about it. There's an empty feeling inside you, so you fill it with an idea. It may not make sense to others who don't see me like you do, but for you, it has meaning beyond tangibility. Sound familiar at all?
Melissa, do you want me to form the Church of the Purple Skunk?
I'm flattered, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Mike, I don't want you to be lonely anymore. And I just thought that if you had me around, maybe that would help you feel a little better about yourself. And when you're ready for the real thing, you'll have the self-esteem to do all sorts of good stuff.
This whole scene also feels kind of like Mike convincing himself as well. But it also feels like Mike trying to convince the audience. Convince them of what? I guess convince them that he, as an individual, is not crazy. That being in a relationship with an imaginary purple skunk is, from a certain point of view, logical and normal. Of course, the question must be asked, why does he care all that much about it if he's already in a relationship with the purple skunk? Why does it matter to him so much that others don't see it as crazy? And, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, they end up off on a pinky promise that no matter what happens, that Mike never forgets about her. Mike even noting that he could never forget about her because he just made this entire episode for her, meaning that this is not a LARP. This is not a separate character. The real Mike is actually in a relationship with Melissa the Purple Skunk, the made-up character given form through animation in real life, in his head. It's all so very meta and, bold, I guess to say the least.
But what if I get too attached to you?
Then you won't need none of that, and I'll have you all to myself.
No, I mean, if I find someone, I couldn't just cast you aside.
Aw, shucks. Don't worry about me. If you find someone, that just means I did my job.
So you're trying to tell me there are no negative outcomes?
Not if you have the right outlook. So, what do you say? Will you let me stick around for a while?
Why not? I mean, if I'm crazy, I might as well be happy, right?
Could you promise me one thing, though? promise that no matter what happens, you won't forget about me.
Of course I won't.
Pinky promise?
I mean, I just made this entire episode for you. How could I forget that?
Oh, you! You realize that this is the cheesiest ending ever, don't you?
I don't give a fuck.
Me neither!
And that is Mike and Melissa. Besides the credits, of course, a strange look into the creative mind of Mike Chenoweth. And despite it being unbelievably cringy and bizarre, I absolutely love this animation. There's something magical about seeing the inner thoughts, creative outlooks, frustrations, and interpersonal thoughts of a creative like Mike. It's an unfiltered blurb of consciousness, given cartoon form. Badly drawn cartoon form, but that only adds to the charm of the piece. I first saw this animation like 4 or so years ago, and have kept coming back to it every year as this perfect little slice of internet eccentricity, especially as more information has come out about the animation. Now, while the exact details are still a little bit up in the air, as I will go into a little bit more later, the story seems to go like this. Mike and Melissa is the product of a man who went through a bad relationship, found comfort through making an OC perfect girlfriend skunk girl in his head, decided to animate a whole cartoon in dedication to his love and reasoning for choosing to be in love and in a relationship with a purple skunk girl from his imagination, then showed this cartoon to a class full of students, and then put it up online with the intention of turning it into a full-blown series. It's all so crazy, brave, weird, funny, and sad at the exact same time. However, we're not actually done here yet, as while obviously the animation itself is a strange little thing, you're probably wondering what came after this, maybe more information about its creator, etc. Well, you'd be in luck, as this animation has garnered quite a little fanbase over the years, not a big one mind you, and it's mostly an ironic fanbase, but there is one nonetheless. Thus we have the Mike and Melissa wiki, which notes on the opening page, quote, "Welcome, Mike and Melissers. This is the unofficial wiki for the web series Mike and Melissa. Take a look around if this interests you. Keep in mind, the pages categorized as canon are the only ones true to Mike's creative vision, and everything else is fan-made. Disclaimer. The moderators and admins of this wiki do not condone the harassment of the creator Mike Chenoweth. If you intend on insulting him or being malicious towards him, don't use this wiki. Also, most of the fan pages are just jokes. We do not actually think atheism is a form of terrorism." Unquote. From here, some interesting info has been gathered about Mike and his cartoon, as well as the original channel that it was uploaded to. To start, the page on Mike, as in the real life Mike, not the caricature version of himself in the cartoon, quote, "History. He started his relationship with Melissa in 2010. 2 years later, he created a series called Mike and Melissa, based off of his real life experiences. The only known Mike and Melissa content he created was an animatic version of the first episode itself, a PSA, a script for episode 22, and miscellaneous art of the characters that wasn't saved. He uploaded these videos on his Dirty Little Mammals YouTube channel. Mike Goes Crazy began to accumulate negative attention over time, and in late 2014 he removed the videos off his channel. He also created music under the pseudonym of Digital Pets, which has 3 known albums and 1 is lost." Unquote. This page also notes the many false rumors that have been spread about Mike himself and the show over the years. Quote, over the years, many rumors about Mike and Melissa and its creator have spread around as the pilot has become more well known. This includes Mike's mom voiced Melissa. Melissa was voiced by his friend Veronica. She credited at the end of the short. He wore a helmet. The hat is either fabric or a detachable hood and isn't a helmet. Mike dropped out of college, or Mike was a slacker in school. Mike was a pretty good student during college despite how he was portrayed in Mike Goes Crazy. Mike turned in the pilot for a school project. The pilot was shown in class for extra credit, and he made the short in his own free time. He created Steven Universe. This is a joke from the saltydkdan video, and it's not true. Melissa is a Sonic OC. Melissa does have large eyes, but it is more influenced by Akira Toriyama's art style than Sonic. Mike has schizophrenia. Melissa was closer to what is known as a tulpa, and she was not believed to be a real-life being. Mike's classmates hated him. Mike Goes Crazy was a collaborative effort from Mike and his friends in his college. This shows that he had many supportive friends at the time of Mike and Melissa's creation. Mike is infertile. Mike being infertile is just an inside joke on this wiki. Mike is an incel. Mike in the animation could be seen as an incel at the start, but Mike the character and Mike the person are different beings. Unquote. Now, while most of these are facts or logical conclusions, some of these do seem a little bit like, trust me bro, that's just the way that it is, considering that there isn't really a source for some of this stuff. But, oh well. On the page about his original channel, the wiki notes, quote, the YouTube channel was created on December 20th of 2011, and had the original upload of Mike Goes Crazy, and the other Mike and Melissa content. Along with that, he also uploaded original music under the name Digital Pets. Some have said that he uploaded personal vlogs onto the channel of him jamming out with his friends and messing around. He also is said to have uploaded a video of him testing his music program. There was also a Facebook page under his name he actively used around the same time as the YouTube channel, who posts art and updates on his videos. Along with that, he would interact with an account role-playing as Melissa Moffett. There is only one screenshot of the Facebook page as of now. One user who followed his account claims he would often post Google Docs onto this page, implying he posted all the lost scripts here. There was a DeviantArt account that had posted art onto it up until at least October of 2014 as well. Unquote. So Mike really had a full setup for this series on social media. And on the note of those other videos on his now deleted YouTube channel, some of the storyboards for a storyboard animatic he made for the first episode were saved, including the oh so iconic one of Mike's Hardcore Plus Awesome t-shirt, among others. However, the full storyboard animatic video is unfortunately lost media. Then we have another lost video that was titled A Message from Mike and Melissa, which according to the wiki, is a lost short that was uploaded around the same time as the first episode's release. Quote, it is supposedly a fully animated short in which Mike learns to not stress out about schoolwork. It ends with him and his classmates sitting in a tree howling. Unquote. Which, yeah, sounds about right. They also have a full script for this short, which I won't be reading in full here, but I'll have a link down below to the wiki should you want to explore that more for yourself. On that note of scripts, apparently in Mike's Facebook group, he shared all sorts of art and behind the scenes stuff about the show, including this picture with all his friends, or maybe these are all separate characters as anthros, I'm not exactly sure. The only reason I think it might be anthropomorphic versions of his friends is because there's an anthropomorphic version of himself there, alongside Melissa, of course. But I can't be sure. There's also this one picture they drew where Mike is bald, I guess, and Melissa is rubbing his head. And finally, we have this picture of Mike and Melissa snuggling up, in love together in bed. accompanied by this text, quote, "Teach me, gladly, tried to hold a song, but my hands were too heavy, loving, someone, echoed in my mind, leaving beautiful memories, tempting but tired, sophisticated functions, animating intimacies, get on top of me now, looking for a friend I couldn't comprehend until now," unquote. Leaves you kinda speechless, don't it? I have no idea what I just read, but I assume it means something to Mike a great deal. Well, anyway, the other thing he shared a lot were scripts, which brings me to this extremely astounding piece of information, that we actually have a full script written by Mike himself of another episode of the show. Now, logic would dictate that because we only have one episode of Mike and Melissa, if we found another script, it would obviously be episode 2, right? I mean, there was only ever one episode, so it just makes sense. But that is not the case. The script that we have available is for episode 22, subtitled Melissa's Anniversary. The episode is about Mike and Melissa's 1-year anniversary of being together, and Mike has to come up with a present to give his girlfriend, and so he looks through his memories to try and find an idea for an anniversary gift. There was apparently several storyboards to go with the script, however those are all sadly lost to time, as they were not properly archived, along with, I don't know, the other 20 episode scripts this man apparently made? It's crazy that Mike was this dedicated to this show. And honestly, kind of admirable, if only for the sake that he would have had to have done this all in a fairly short span of time. And apparently this first episode was done over the course of 3 months, which, while yes, the animation is objectively bad, it's still a 15-minute animation done in 3 months, and that's pretty cool regardless of the quality. It is still a coherent, if not extremely bizarre story after all. And therein lies the strange and sad sort of tragedy of Mike and Melissa. What is basically one episode plus some crumbs of other videos was going to be a full animated series, and I'd be lying if I didn't admit that I wish we had gotten a few more episodes out of this. However, as much as I'd enjoy that, if Mike couldn't handle the trolls, criticisms, or banter around his cartoon back then maybe it was the most healthy thing to leave it all behind. Not to mention, the whole series has an undertone of Mike being a desperate, sad guy creating something to give his life meaning, happiness, a change from the norm, an escape, but a false one all the same. And who knows, maybe through all the criticism and Mike having some time to reflect, maybe Mike realized that fact, that this was a sad way to escape reality, that in addition to all the backlash he was getting, maybe it was time to move on, to grow up, and stop pretending that he's in a relationship with a purple skunk girl. But then again, maybe he's still in a relationship with Melissa to this day, just privately. And if that is the case, then as much as I'd love more content from him, hell, I'd still love more content from him regardless if it was Mike and Melissa related, I cannot deny that he has probably made the most wise decision keeping it to himself in the privacy of his own home. That's not to say I'm discourage people from sharing their full creative self and what have you. I say, let 'em cook, cringe and all. But with how long it's been, I certainly do not foresee Mike coming back to the internet to revive this at any point. Hell, maybe he's come back through a different means and no one even knows about it at this point. But all the same, I genuinely do wish him the best, and I hope that he's in perhaps a better place than where he was at when he made this cartoon. But no matter what Mike is doing nowadays, one thing is for certain: no one has seen him at all for an entire decade online. And in spite of that, his creation, his only internet legacy, continues to be shared around, enjoyed, mocked, and documented all the same. In fact, in my search for Mike and Melissa lore, I found this channel called Hardcore and Awesome that has made several pieces of Mike and Melissa fan content, including an AMV, an Iceberg video, pieces of the soundtrack, a fan animatic of episode 22 based around the script, and a Mike and Melissa film festival where various people make videos or films based around Mike and Melissa. These are usually shitposts, but I mean, what exactly did you expect? Still, it is pretty crazy and pretty cool that this is even a thing to begin with. And with that, I think that's enough wandering the web for the day. Comment down below if you happen to know of any other interesting animations or videos like Mike and Melissa, or any other obscure corners of the web that you may know of. You never know, we just might find ourselves wandering through one of your suggestions one day. Before I let you go though, I want to make sure to take this time to thank all of my loyal patrons and channel members for helping to support me and the channel as a whole, including all of my night eggs and night owlets, as well as all of my great night owls, including Star Punch Gaming, Hex Maniac Hannah, Cruisin' Obscura, Tony Terramaya, Justice, Macabre Kaiju, Ho Hot, and Medusa's Hex, as well as a very special thank you to all of my arch owls, including the Good Chi Vibes Zen Garden Party, the Wise Daniel, as well as the extremely talented Doggy NGT, the Gun Totin' Thursday 14, the Fearless Forgotten Ace, and the Super Saiyan Sword. With all that being said, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, this has been Dylan the Night Owl, flying off.